right, how you doing? Welcome to lesson 38. Wow, we're really moving along in the videos here. Lesson 38, we're going to talk about some fancy stuff and how to incorporate some of the cool jazzy stuff that we've been working on over a little bit more of a rock situation. Okay, so a lot of people have asked questions in emails that have come into the lessons about like showing some more advanced stuff and how to incorporate that into some of the rock stuff that they like to play. Well, we're going to talk about that today. So I've come up with a little practice thing that I think is going to help you, because we often find ourselves in situations where we might find we're more or less comfortable in a progression, maybe comfortable in a key we're used to playing in a certain key, let's say A minor or E minor, but there might be some other opportunities to advance the information or the music a little bit more than what we usually do. Maybe we used to always play pentatonic, and we're fine with that, but we want to advance our playing and get some more color into our melodies. So one of the things that we've talked about before is the concept of using some altered scales. Okay, now why would we use an altered scale? What does an altered scale mean? Well, it's basically a scale that will activate the color and extension notes of a dominant chord. Okay, so if you notice, I'm holding an E7 sharp 9, right? The old popular Jimi Hendrix E7 sharp 9. And what I'm showing you now is when I've written the notes of the chord around the sharp 9 chord, you'll see this is actually what I'm playing, right? E7 sharp 9 like this, but there's other notes around it that really sound good as well, and they're the notes of the altered scale, right? So what I like to do is I like to show you how to play that chord right there and then add on other notes along the way to make your melodies over this chord have a little bit more impact than just staying in the straight minor pentatonic. I mean, yeah, I can play that chord, and I can play. And that sounds fine. I mean, it's bluesy, and it sounds, you know, it sounds cool, but check it out. If I play this chord, and I go, see how I get a little bit more melody out of the chord? I get more of the half steps of the chord. And I'm never going to get into those notes in the pentatonic scale. It's just not going to happen because the pentatonic scale overlaps like this, and it doesn't give me this note, and it doesn't give me this note. So you really have to try to put yourself in a situation where you can find these other notes in between and around the cool chord tones, okay, of the altered chords. So why don't we see if we can make up some little phrases around this chord shape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this board over so I can present two things at the same time. Okay, so now we're going to use this altered scale or this altered diagram and plug in some of those notes over these chords right here. And the interesting thing is, we're going to have a couple opportunities to use it here, but believe it or not, we're going to actually still be able to use it on the B flat dominant chord right here, because check it out, the dominant chord that we have right here is just another substitution for the E7 chord. Okay, if you look, if the B flat were actually right here, if this was a B flat, then all these other notes around the B flats chord sound good as well. These notes played against B flat sound perfect against it. So that chord sound right there of B flat, and you get all the right notes of B flat. So either E7 or B flat, those notes are going to sound great. Okay, that's called a tritone substitution. Okay, you don't have to exactly understand every element of that concept right there, but just know that those notes, if this would B flat, this would be basically D, and this would be F. And these notes around here mean different things. This is not going to be the flat 9 of B flat, but just the notes themselves are going to sound cool against B flat. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got this funky progression. We're gonna try to play pentatonic and blues out some stuff. We're going to play some of these altered notes here. And we've also got a little bit of a key change here to modulate through that's kind of nice. So we're going to give you a chance to just use some of your standard arpeggios too. Okay? So let me play over a little bit just to give you a feel for what it sounds like. And then we're going to have you guys do a few things, okay? So here's what it sounds like first. Let's go through the rhythm. It's going to have this kind of funky Lenny Kravitz thing, kind of a... Okay, check it out. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now here comes D minor. There's B flat 7. Here comes the second ending, C major 9. Nice and melodic there, right? Okay, now I'm going to play over it. Okay. So a lot of fun with a progression like that because there's a lot of melody in the progression in terms of places that you can take your notes, but there's a lot of key center stuff happening too, so you don't have to play through all the changes either. You can kind of stay in one key and, you know, make the blues kind of sound good too. I'm kind of a little bit more of a jazzy kind of blues rock player, so that kind of affects the way that I play and the notes that I choose when I'm improvising. But it's good to have the understanding of where you can go with all your melodies too, so you can really take it to a lot of different levels. Okay, so you might just want to take a progression like this and just do a couple of things. First of all, maybe on the major seventh and the minor seventh part of the progression, you might want to just say, okay, for the purposes of this part, I'm just going to play let's say, arpeggios that sound like the chords without getting too specific about any one arpeggio. I'm going to play the D minor 7 on the D minor chord. Right, just to really bring out the flavor of that. And then the B flat 7, you know, maybe don't even worry about what I was explaining there. Just play the B flat 7. Right, and then just get back into the A bluesy sound. But really focus your energies maybe just on the altered chord, and just try to play 1 or 2 sweet sounding notes, like the sharp 9 and the flat 9 going down to the root. See how that really strongly brings it into the A minor? Right? Especially if I use the flat 9 and the sharp 9 and the major third together. They all want to pull back down to one of the notes of A minor, right? This little shape here in the middle of the E7 chord is really a good foundation for the sound of the chord, because it's basically the E7 sound in the bottom, right? You can use that to start a lot of your melodies there. That's why I wrote it there, 1, 3, flat 7, okay? You can also take things like, I like to take, actually, where's my pin here? Here's my pin. I even like to take this note right here, which is next to the third, but it's actually the same thing as the sharp 9, or yeah, the flat 9 rather. What am I doing here? Sharp 9 right here, and I'll play that, and I'll spin that back and forth, right? Sharp 9, major third, flat 7, sharp 9. I'll do that kind of a phrase. It's really cool over E7, it isn't? Okay, so listen to that. I'm going to play that right now in this part of the progression. 2, 3, 4. The D minor, I'm just going to keep it to arpeggio. Flat 7. Okay, so I was even kind of using a lot more chromatic notes in addition to just the scale notes right there. But you can find, as you just work in one position like I'm doing there, even though I was playing the alternate scale, you can even see below that I've got some other patterns written out that relate to the same sounds, but now in different positions. If this were, let's say, E7 right here, right, then you can see what the chord it would be right here, and then these other altered notes are right around it. So that really makes it easy to see. There's the E7 sound right there. There's the flat 7, but the sharp 5, the flat 9, and sharp 9 are right there on top. And the major third is actually even right above the sharp 9 right there. So it's good to have these little core shapes of dominant altered sounds that you can grab inside of a standard or, key center kind of a progression like this, because it gives you the capability of playing bluesy stuff, but it also gives you that extra little jazzy sort of color sound that you can add in there. So it's a lot of fun. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a chance to play along with me here. I'm just going to play the rhythm for you, and let's see if we can maybe work on doing this in 2 positions for our next week of studies. Maybe play the 1 chord to the 5 chord here, E7, right here, and also the 1 chord to the 5 chord right here, and use this scale shape, and see if you can come up with some cool melodies about over those 2 scale sounds, okay? All right, I hope you had a good time with this lesson, and you're going to jam out and take me home. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Now, arpeggios are... Third sound, maybe right up here. Now here's C major, arpeggios here.